Hello, everybody. We should be live now. We should be what are we? We're little hummingbirds. And here is Preacher Leela. And we're going to continue with Swami Rama's discussion on the Mundaka Upanishad that he calls the book Wisdom of the Ancient Sages. And we've been going through chapter 1. This book is divided into chapter 1 and chapter 2, and chapter 1 is sort of introduction, and chapter 2 is the actual Upanishad itself. And so that's why it says chapter 2, Mundaka Upanishad. Okay, you ready to go, preacher?
We're ready to roll.
Okay, and we are looking at Cantto 1, chapter 2, Cantto 1, verse 1.
It is the truth that just as a great fire manifests thousands of sparks that share its nature, so the manifold world evolves from the indestructible and is absorbed back into it again. This verse starts with the statement, "This is the truth." Just as sparks rise from the blazing fire, similarly, the universe issues forth, oh my friend. Many beings and creatures, having different names and forms, have risen from the one absolute imperishable, and verily, they all go back to their origin. She's pointing to the circle chart, Swamiji.
Cool.
Absolute truth refers to 1, that which is self-existent, that which was never born and therefore never dies. 2, that which is imperishable and everlasting. Imperishable and everlasting. And 3, that which alone has the power to liberate one. It is true that the goal of human life is to attain the absolute truth, but aspirants, I can't read it because there's a comment there. Oh, find a great wall in standing in front of them. Thank you.
It's blocking it?
Well, the comment was just the circle was coming down just over the parts of the words for me.
But this text thing is at the bottom of the screen, right?
No. She has you and the text bigger and her in a box below.
Oh.
Then the comment go over the text.
Okay, so I need to keep the top part of this clear for you, huh, Leela?
Either that or just, keep scrolling. Or
yeah, but I was already scrolling. It was about to go off the page.
Right.
It's already there. It's at the very top. Absolute truth, but aspirants find a great wall. See, to me, it's at the very top.
Right. That's where the thing was for me. So, yeah, if you take them out, that's great.
So the text thing falls at the top of your screen?
Right.
Okay, well, I'll be mindful of that because on mine, it's supposed to be displaying on the bottom, not the top.
Right.
Okay, go on. I'll just be mindful of that.
So it is true that the goal of human life is to attain the absolute truth, but aspirants find a great wall standing in front of them. Oh no, it is a great wall standing in front of me. As long as human beings are not aware of the center of consciousness within, their mind and senses lead them to the external world, which is full of distortions and dissipations. When the aspirants learn to train their mind, they become aware of the truth and live in the world like the lotus flower that grows in a pool, but whose petals remain above the water and unaffected by it.
Is there someone in there?
No, there's not. I'm reading live, but if you can just close the door when you're done. Thank you. I have guests.
Can I do this one?
Hyro, the technique of living in the external world should be practiced, not with attachment, but with love. Love and attachment are two opposing principles. Attachment contracts the human personality, while love expands it. Many people think that they cannot survive without attachments. This is true.
I was on.
They survive temporarily only to finally destroy themselves with the black force of attachment. Thank you, Tequila. You're awesome. She closed the door for everybody. Attachment is like the veiler of the night, who always delights in doing things in darkness, never in light. But those who understand the difference between attachment and love know that attachment means lust, while love means selfless giving. Love is a great power that has liberating qualities. Love for God and attachment to lust are two entirely different motivations and have vastly different consequences. When one learns to live in the world, doing his duties lovingly and skillfully, then he or she remains unattached, unaffected, and liberated, that is free from the bondage of karma and the fruits of action that one receives due to karma. Such human beings are aware that although attachment is the cause of all misery, love is the very nature of life and is a liberating force that confronts them in all conditions and circumstances of life. When the aspirant has firm faith in the Lord of life, Atman, his own inner dweller, then he knows his individual capital S self, his eternal spark arising from its immortal source, Brahman. Right here. Right here. Eternal source.
There you go.
Physics teaches us that all life is like a particle or a wave. The Upanishads also say that this is true, that life is a wave of bliss in a vast ocean of bliss. Each wave rises from and again subsides into the same ocean. From the standpoint of Advaita, there is no death and no birth. The life force is never born, nor does it die. When the aspirant firmly believes in the existence of the individual soul, not as part and parcel of the absolute truth, but identical to and essentially one with it, then he or she wants to directly experience that immeasurable, imperishable joy. Purusha, the supreme consciousness, is self-effulgent, formless, and unborn. It pervades and permeates the entire external and internal world. It is beyond prana and mind. It is perfect and unalloyed, not mixed with anything. She's pointing to her daddy on her t-shirt.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I am reading this. Look, Swami J is showing you a circle chart.
I've got one too.
Now you have one in front of you and in back of you.
I have one behind me and I have one in front of me.
What else is there?
Nothing.
What else is there? I'm going to break here and tell you the story I wanted to tell because it's like really awesome. Is this circle chart is here with me on the bed because we had it out talking about her daddy.
Uh-huh.
And I had I had her daddy's girlfriend here with me, and I had her daddy's other little boy, Jamarius, and we were talking about the soul.
Yeah.
And the part that drops.
Cool.
And here's how Tequila reacted to it. Matri, are you there? Are you watching?
Yeah, I'm watching. I'm here.
She's watching.
She grabbed my wrist and pointed to the heart on it.
Oh.
You're making Swami. She just cried. Me too. Look, Matri showed you her heart. She's got a heart too. There it is. See? It's just like mine.
I have to put my arm straight.
See? Can you see it? Yeah. So, that blew me away.
That's pretty cool.
Sweet.
You're cool, Tequila.
Yes.
You gonna come visit Swami J with me someday? She says, yeah.
Lovely.
We'll wait till Matri comes back.
Okay.
When the aspirant...
Then we'll get her a heart tattoo.
Say what?
Then we'll get her a heart tattoo also.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing's wrong. I just can I interrupt her?
Oh, there's Marty.
Hi, John Leonardo.
Hey, Swam. Well, I'm doing the.
Hi, Marty.
Hi there. I got a lot of good family around me supporting me right now. I mean,
Cool.
I'm as good a shape as you can be for right now. And I got this one here. Yeah, you know, and I got that one back there too. Everything's good. Everything's good. Everything's good.
Good to hear, Marty.
Yeah, it's very nice to hear. Very good to hear.
Yeah.
It's a tough time.
Yeah.
Still, anyway.
Well, you know, Swami. I mean, you're about what I feel is love, and I feel love all around, and it's important. You know, I feel something about it being projected, so it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
Thank you, Marty.
Sure.
She's asking to get her foot rubbed.
She wants me to rub her feet. I guess that's what I'm going to do.
I like it. I'm going to hold my feet up here, too, and see if I can get them rubbed. Oh, I can't get my feet rubbed. And I ran out of chocolate cake. And I'm feeling heartbroken. I don't know how to get my feet rubbed or get a piece of cake.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like you got both.
Oh. Oh.
You gotta make sounds.
All righty, preacher.
When the aspirant, with the help of contemplation and meditation, crosses the mire of delusion created by his own ignorance, and when he directly experiences that his individual soul is the self of all, then he knows that the self is resplendent and without any form. There is no origin to it, but it is self-existent, pure Purusha. The self does not need prana or mind or body to support its self-existent reality. I just added that in there because it was
Yeah,
good. I had to say it.
had to say it. Perfect.
The aspirant knows him within himself and finds him as well in the external world. He transcends all that is relative. This is the self-luminous reality. There is no birth, there is no death, and there are no modifications. Therefore, there is no death or decomposition. The knower of Brahman realizes the absolute truth to be without prana, mind, senses, or body. No attributes can be imposed on the pure Brahman, but in association with Maya, which is Brahman's own power. It is the cause of manifestation. Whenever the Upanishadic mantra describes Brahman as a cause of manifestation, it refers to the Saguna Brahman, Brahman with attributes. The student who successfully treads the path of light with the help of self-analysis and self-control finally realizes the finer aspects of life and then attains the highest good, self-realization. Verse 3. From this evolves prana, life energy, the mind, all the senses, space, air, fire, water, and the earth, which supports the whole world. This verse describes how the human being has come into existence, and at the same time, how the aspirant understands that birth and death are illusory. Actually, the manifestation of the different names and forms of the universe do not have an existence of their own, but they exist because absolute truth exists. It is through nescience, or Maya, that the pure and splendid self-luminous Brahman appears as the universe and its numerous objects. Both before and after, those numerous objects. Both before and after the manifestation of the universe, Brahman is free.
Free.
You went free. Free. From prana, mind, sense organs, forms, and names. They are forms of Saguna Brahman. According to the Upanishadic philosophy, these projections and modifications are therefore unreal. Just as various ornaments made out of the same gold have no existence independent of the gold, so similarly do the various objects and forms have no existence of their own. They are merely words used for convenience and communication in day-to-day life, rather than real entities. Just as a childless woman cannot be called a mother simply because she dreams about having a son. Just as the manifestation, I dreamed of having a son, did I? Sort of. The manifestation of this universe is like a dream. Just as a dream is real to the dreamer, so the universe is real to the ignorant or unillumined one. Such ignorant persons continue to live in the darkness of ignorance until they are awakened to the light of absolute truth. Verse 4. Fire is the head. The moon and sun are eyes. The directions are the ears. The revealed Vedas are his speech. Air is his prana. This universe is his heart. Earth itself has emerged from his feet, and he alone is the inner self of all living beings. In this verse, the first embodied manifestation of the Lord has the totality of the names and forms of the universe. It describes Brahman, but this description is actually of the Saguna Brahman, Brahman with attributes. Brahman without attributes cannot be described. So otherwise it would be attributes. You see what I mean? The verse says that certainly he is the indwelling Atman within all. The word fire can be interpreted in many different ways in the Vedic literature. As we have already said, it has more than 300 meanings. Literally, Agni means fire. And although at times it used to mean heaven too, describing the Saguna Brahman, The verse says that fire is his head, the sun and moon are his eyes, and the 4 directions or quarters are his ears. The knowledge of the Vedas, which has been revealed to the Rishis, is his voice. The wind is his breath, and the whole universe is his heart. This earth of ours originated from his feet. This verse describing Saguna Brahman, or Virat Purusha, is the first embodied manifestation. Cool. Miss Tequila has some shoes.
Uh-huh.
Excuse me one moment.
Are you using it too?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. We have an internet cafe at this house too.
Of course you do. That's what we have, is an internet ashram cafe.
This verse describing Saguna Brahman, or Virat Purusha, the first embodied manifestation, which is also the same as the inner self of all beings. That means all y'all. Is said to be infinite and all-pervading. Kayla said, yeah, when I said all y'all.
Yeah.
The previous verse refers to the Purusha as the individual soul, sleeping in the city of life within the human body.
Yeah.
This verse guides the aspirant to understand that the individual self, Purusha, is the same as the universal self called Virat. One dwells in the human body, the other dwells in the universe. The Upanishad says that the absolute Brahman dwells in the smallest of particles and is at the same time all-pervading in the universe.
Wow.
Yeah.
The aspirant then understands that the superimposition of the body, breath, senses, and mind is not real, but illusory, and the self is the supreme self. This state of self-realization liberates him from the self-created barriers and obstacles of his petty-mindedness, small-mindedness. You know, this is pretty big stuff to think about here. The tangible universe is a modification of the mind. It is not perceived in deep sleep, because in deep sleep it disappears. The mind is capable of producing numerous tangible forms. All the forms and names are created by the cosmic mind. As all individuals have their own mind, so is the cosmic individual the totality of all minds. The cosmic mind is Shakti, through which Virat can be understood. If an aspirant learns to train his mind, he will be able to fully understand his senses, body, and all the internal elements therein. However, as an instrument, the mind itself is not capable of leading the aspirant on the path of self-realization. That would be like asking my hammer to take me to Walmart.
Gee,
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
That's for an animation.
It is. I want to, how do you call that? Like imagery.
What did she say?
She can do the imagery to animate it.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to animate Leela asking
Just
her,
as
talking
the
to her
hammer
hammer.
cannot bring you to Walmart, the mind cannot bring you to self-realization.
Right.
It's another.
When the mind does not continue to create barriers and obstacles, this quality of mind is called sattvic mind. Now that's pretty easy, isn't it? A pretty easy explanation.
Yeah.
When the mind does not create barriers and obstacles, this quality of mind is called sattvic mind. All we have to do is not continue to create barriers and obstacles. There we go.
Funny how that works, isn't it?
When the mind is sattvic, it becomes easy for the aspirant to go beyond the usual mire of delusion created by the mind itself. I'm small. I have a small form. I am this form. Oh. This type of thinking is a creation of the mind. As long as aspirants identify themselves with the thoughts, feelings, and objects of the mind, which is, they can never establish themselves in their essential nature, which is Atman.
Free!
Free! But the mind that is disciplined, trained, and purified does not stand as a wall. That means it must just go Naroda. The aspirant, mind-blowing element, I just hammered it home. Oh my, art. Free! The aspirant then fathoms the boundaries and fields of the mind, both the conscious and the unconscious. Verse 5, having the sun as its source of energy, fire evolves from him. From him also evolves Soma, the second stage of fire. From Soma comes rain, and from that all the herbs that grow on the earth. Just as a man plants a seed in a woman, and thus life ensues, so with the aid of Purusha, do numberless beings evolve. She's pointing to the active unconscious right now. She just explained it all. Hope you listen.
Yeah.
This verse also describes and expands upon the attributes of Virat Purusha, Saguna Brahman, explaining that heaven is the first projection of Virat Purusha, and the sun is its fuel. The moon in the heaven bestows its shower of blessings upon the earth, the rain and the rain clouds, which are classified as the second fire. The herbs grow from the earth, which is the third fire. The herbs eaten by men are eaten by men, and that is the fourth fire. That's my pancreas, the fourth fire there, honey. Then man casts forth seed and sows it in woman, which is the fifth fire. In this manner, many creatures are born from the Virat Purusha, the all-pervading being. This verse refers to the 5 fires described in Chandogya Upanishad. According to that story, Shvetaketu, who was the son of a rishi named Gautama, visited a great king of Panchala. The king asked the boy if he knew how the offerings made at the sacrifices were transformed into human bodies. Neither the boy nor his father could answer the question, so the king explained the matter by describing the 5 fires indicated above. The reader should not be confused because of the word Agni, or fire. Verily, this is all fire. Life is sustained by fire. Breath is fire. Prana is fire. The mind functions because of fire. Therefore, when we talk of fire sadhana, it refers to the fire of knowledge as well. And what does it burn? It burns ignorance. There are many subtle symbols in the Upanishads. Without knowing those symbols in their profundity, the teachings will remain obscure. You know, Swami J really puts the fun in profundity.
See.
A competent teacher teaches both the theory and the practice of the scriptures. The theory gives the knowledge of the profound philosophy of the universe and its creation. The practice of contemplation and meditation helps one to realize that the individual self is the same self of all. Verse 6. From him also come forward the mantras of the Rig, Sama, and Yajurvedas, the knowledge pertaining to initiation, rituals, and sacrifices, the concept of giving offerings. From him also develop the units of time, such as the year and the month, and the aspirants who strive to perform rituals, as well as the whole world, which is purified, illuminated, and sustained by Soma and Surya, fire and the source of fire. This verse again repeats that from him comes the knowledge of the Rig, Sama, and Yajurvedas, as well as the Atharva Veda. Sacred chants and all the rules and regulations of the ceremonies originate from the same source, Virat Purusha. Excuse me. The Rig Veda contains Vedic mantras in verse, as well as the rules and regulations and metric systems, chandas, for mantras, as in the Gayatri mantra. The Sama Veda consists of the mantras and their various classifications. These mantras are set to music, from which the classical music of India originates. All keynotes are described in the Sama Veda. Yajurveda mainly consists of mantras in prose form. These scriptures prescribe numerous methods for conducting ceremonies, which have their origin in spirituality. During that period, the ancients performed many ceremonies to strengthen awareness of Brahman. Verse 7. From him evolve manifold celestial beings, evolved souls with full awareness of their goal, sadhyas, human beings, animals, birds, prana and apana, all kinds of grains, tapas, faith, truth, discipline of mind and senses, and many other rules and laws. From him, the Virat Purusha, the universal being, arise the finer forces of life, celestial beings called bright beings or devas, men, beasts and birds, prana and apana, inhalation and exhalation, grains, austerity, faith, truth, continence, and the law. This verse creates an affirmative attitude in the mind of the aspirant that all the objects of the world and their forms have originated from Brahman. Brahman is the only cause. Such an attitude, if cultivated, gives faith and inner serenity to the aspirant, which helps him to tread the path of light. All the actions performed by both ignorant and wise men are regarded as sacrificial acts. The ceremonies and all their ancillaries, including the results, have their origins in Brahman.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
There you go.
From him evolved the sevenfold pranas, the seven flames, the seven fuels, the seven kinds of offerings, and the sevenfold universe. Residing in the cave of the body, the heart, the sevenfold pranas continue their journey. From Brahman alone proceed the seven pranas, which remain in the reservoir in the human head, the two eyes, the two ears, two nostrils, and mouth. They are also taken to mean the seven Rishis. The seven acts of sensation created by the seven pranas are called the seven flames. The pranas are ablaze and are lit by objects. The seven kinds of knowledge are actually seven sensations which are called oblations. There are 7 flames in the human body, which are the 7 chakras, where the pranas dwell on every plane. Here the word prana is not used as a vital force, but that which functions in the 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, and mouth. However, because of their different functions, all the pranas operate in each center in a spiritual way, which is coordinated by the mind. So Manas does all that too, huh?
Pretty busy in there, huh?
Yeah, you just really never realize how much that function of mind is actually doing. These different pranic vehicles function all the time, even during deep sleep, and their functioning is experienced by the yogis in the heart. In this verse, the word cave has been used for both the body and the heart. The body is a cave in which dwells the inner being, and the heart is a cave in which dwells the innermost being. But inside the body, the heart is the main center from where the functioning of the body is controlled. It is this heart that controls the physical heart and brain too. Yoga science describes more than 72,000 channels of pranic energy and their vehicles. Prana in this instance refers to the vital force, the first unit of life. But that first unit of life is also inseparably related to the universal life with the help of the vehicle that supplies prana constantly. There are 10 major pranic vehicles, but in this Upanishad only 7 pranas are described in order to teach students, so that they will explore the functioning of the pranic vehicles in the human body. That's the practice part.
Yeah.
When aspirants learn the internal fire ceremony, then they use the objects of the senses as offerings for the sacrificial fire.
The objects of the senses. So all of that imagery, all of that visualization that many people are trying to cultivate doing, because visualization is going to bring me spirituality, all of those visualizations are surrendered and put into the fire. Because beyond all of those visualized objects is the unvisualizable, formless truth.
That's
Something like that. Huh?
like a uh-huh.
Uh-huh. There
Verse
you go.
9. From this supreme being spring the various oceans, mountains, and rivers, and all the herbs. Within all this resides the inner self. And that means ain't nothing excluded. Nothing. From him arise all oceans, rivers, and mountains, and from him alone come forth all plants, flowers, their flavors and fragrances. From him also come herbs and grains which are consumed, and through which the subtle body is encircled by the gross elements of matter. From him come foods derived from plants, herbs, and other sources of the earth, which sustain the physical body. Nowhere does this Upanishad mention that animals are sacrificed in any of the ceremonies, or that they are meant to be eaten by human beings. The foods that are derived from plants and herbs, such as rice, barley, wheat, and vegetables, are healthy foods for maintaining the physical body. Meat eaters are also called secondary vegetarians because they eat the meat of animals who eat vegetables. Research has shown that a vegetarian diet is very healthy and helpful on the path of spirituality. Such a diet is available everywhere and anywhere in every corner of this earth. If one acquires a simple knowledge of nutrients, minerals, vitamins, proteins, and carbohydrates, he or she will see that a vegetarian diet leads the aspirant to good health, both physically and mentally. On the path of spirituality, vegetarian food suits the aspirant. That is not to say that a non-vegetarian cannot tread the path of spirituality, but an aspirant should learn to lead a simple life. And most of the great sages and scholars of the ancient times lived on a vegetarian diet and lived long and healthy lives. In order to live a long and healthy life, there are also other considerations besides simply eating nutrition food. These include a knowledge of the science of breath and breathing exercises, which are important in helping one to attain a healthy life. We consider health on all dimensions: physical, mental, and spiritual. Cheerfulness is the greatest of physicians. A positive attitude toward life is necessary to maintain health. Even if one eats a nutritious diet, if one is experiencing the pressure of mental agony or emotional pain, this can sometimes convert food into poison. Therefore, a state of mental cheerfulness is equally as important as the food itself in helping one to lead a healthy life. It is also traditionally said that excessive roasting and toasting of food turns organic calcium into inorganic calcium, for which there is no use in the human body. This puts undue pressure on the kidneys and disturbs the metabolism. Simple, nutritious foods, properly baked and cooked, and then eaten in a cheerful and pleasant atmosphere, seem to be the most beneficial. This whole universe is the expansion of Purusha alone. Tapas, knowledge, and its result manifest from Brahman, and ultimately consciousness is the essence of all that exists. He who knows Purusha residing in the cave of the heart destroys the knot of ignorance here in this lifetime.
Right here and now, huh?
No waiting.
Self-realization at all costs.
This Huh?
Huh?
I said seek self-realization at all costs.
You tell it. Tell it, Ma, tell it.
Mm-hmm.
This verse states that everything is born of Brahman. He alone is the cause of all animate and inanimate objects of the world, and that doesn't leave anything out. For the aspirant, it is important to note that the supreme and immortal Atman is hidden in the inner chamber of his or her heart, and by knowing it, all the knots of ignorance are cut asunder. The Purusha, the cosmic self alone, is truly the universe. All the actions, austerities, penance, and manifestations have originated from that supreme being who remains sleeping in the cave of the heart. Again and again, the Upanishadic teachings lead the aspirant to strengthen his faith and to realize that the universe is born from Brahman. It has no existence of its own. All actions and ceremonies have originated in Brahman. This Upanishad starts with the mantra pertaining to the question, by knowing what can all be known? And the answer is given here. The universe and all animate and inanimate objects have arisen from Brahman, the Supreme Self. Therefore, nothing can come out of Brahman but Brahman. Think about that. By knowing Brahman, one knows the universe. An aspirant should attain this knowledge in this lifetime on this earth. He or she attains this by dwelling in the body and identifying not with the objects of the world, but with Atman. Such an attainment will lead the aspirant to the height of liberation, which is Jivan Mukti, the liberation in this body in this lifetime. And here ends the first canto of chapter 2.
Yay!
Ah,
Well, so what do you think, preacher?
seems like a good stopping place.
It does. It seems like a great place to pause. What is the page number here? Let me see if I can find it.
Hi, Tequila.
All righty. There we go. You can have the whole camera. There you go. It's Preacher Leela and Tequila. You have the whole camera. Hi.
Thanks, Johnny.
There you go.
You gotta sit up taller, Tequila, but your face is disappearing.
You're disappearing. Yeah. There she is.
Thank you.
Anybody got anything else to type in the comments?
Thomas, you can make weird faces, Tequila. Look at that.
Oh, look, there's more. He's not done yet. Thank you, Ro. Bye, Nicholas.
Bye, Nicholas.
Bye, Nicholas.
Thank you, Leela, for reading.
Yes,
It's nice
thank you,
to see
Leela.
you're animating while you're with text.
She likes it too.
Yeah, we like having you together.
She likes seeing herself on the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. All righty. So, thank you, everybody, for visiting. Thank you, Preacher Leela.
Hey.
Sunday Leela, Sunday play.
Yeah.
Continued. Now, next Sunday, I will not be here. Matri will be in, where's she going? Holland. Next Sunday, I will still be in Pittsburgh, except that right now we'll be en route on the way back here, and we'll get back Sunday evening late. So I'll be back online Monday morning, and then Monday afternoon, I'll be back Monday morning, but on Monday afternoon, I leave for Holland. And then I will be with Matri over there. And she says possibly that next Saturday we will be online and do a satsang from there.
Which will be, of course, announced.
Which she will announce in the satsang group. It'll be something simple and short and sweet. So then I'm back. I will be back from all of this traveling on the evening of the 24th of September, and then we will return to regular programming, as the people say. Regular programming. So,
okay.
There you go. Raphael says, great to meet you, Leela.
Glad you're here, Raphael.
This chapter has summarized the keys to everything, the crux. Terry Violet says, nice to meet you, Tequila. Not sure how to spell it. That's a pretty good job, huh?
Yeah. She's pointing to the cave of my heart here.
Thank you, John. We'll have a good trip. I guess that's for Matri, and she'll say
Thank you, John.
She'll have a good trip. Her only problem is whether she can get out of here and get through Houston tomorrow.
It looks good so far.
Rumor is they've had a little bit of bad weather around Houston. And some of the airplanes have been having trouble. But the airplanes are
So far,
the airplanes now are flying, huh?
Yeah, so far it looks like at least 50% is back travel.
It looks like at least 50% of the planes in and out of Houston are back to traveling. So once she gets out of Houston, once she gets to Houston and out of Houston, it should be pretty clear.
Oh, you're getting kisses.
Huh?
Leela's getting kisses.
Oh, pretty sweet, huh?
Yeah, very sweet.
Yeah. Thank you, Roseanne.
There we go.
So,
Oh, Machi blew you a kiss. Let's blow her kiss back.
there you go.
Thank you, Leela.
Thank you. Thank you so much for letting us play.
Thank you for playing. Bye-bye, all.
Have a great trip.
Thank you.
Wave. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.